So we've been having some things going on behind the scenes. This video is going to give you guys a little bit of insight, a little bit of a rundown on what has been going on, and how it's pretty much kind of bittersweet. So let's get into it. Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Crested Geckos, coming to you guys with yet again another video. And man, we are rolling. But before we start digging into the meat and potatoes of this actual video, hit that subscribe button, you already know. But we're also having a huge sale, huge event. You're going to want to go over to flawlesscrestedgeckos.com or check it out on Morph Market. We uploaded over 100, I think it was like 101 geckos. There's not that many left anymore. We actually have about 20 orders going out today. So got a pretty full day today, which is awesome. So again, join that Beat the Heat sale. Man, we do it once a year. Right now, all the geckos are 40% off. You're gonna wanna go over there and check it out. Really good, nice, beautiful geckos still available. So, well, what's been going on behind the scenes? What do you guys got going on? So, this is part of us basically putting everything out to you guys, being completely transparent to you guys, and bringing you guys along with us on this journey. I mean, full-time reptile breeders, and we don't take your viewership for granted, and we also don't take wherever you would put us in the industry for granted either. We're extremely humble, and we're always striving to improve and get better. That being said, we've been doing phenomenally well over the last few years. Anybody that's been following us for a while, this is year 9, about to go into year 10. Full time, this is year 5, going into year 6, full time. And the bittersweet news and things that was going on behind the scenes was, you know, we were able to basically take plain Jane business models, stuff that you see in any big business, and mesh it over into the crested gecko industry hobby and make it work, creating standards, business standards, standards of operations. We did all these things with the long-term goals in mind. While doing this, we got a lot of eyes put on us. As you guys know, if you've been following us for a while, we were invited to be guest speakers for Epic, which happened some time ago. We actually flew Brian from Altitude Exotics out here, and it was really cool. Incredible experience. We've been going back to epic.live and watching different other people's lives as well, because you can still sign up, and it was free of charge. So you can kind of go through and pick and pull things that you're interested in, or you need to kind of brush up on, or feel maybe you just need that information, that content. And it's been a while, but we were contacted by Bloomberg Business. Yes, Bloomberg Business. Blown away. They did a whole interview with us. The interview lasted about an hour 15 minutes, asking tons of questions in reference to how, you know, Flawless Crested Geckos came about. We sent so much information, and then even kind of fact checking and doing everything behind the scenes as well, where, you know, there was numerous messages and emails sent back and forth to confirm information, timelines. We went into pure detail on purchases we made, high dollar purchases, how much money we invested in. Actually, we went into detail on starting our other LLC with Flawless Exotic Creations, and how basically literally we took a chunk of money over the last 2 years, almost $600,000, and did a business startup with Flawless Exotic Creations. We went into detail on how it ended up making sense long term to do it that way, on how those goals over there generally speaking, was 50 grand of revenue profit per year, getting started. And, you know, if you get that going for 10 years straight, you're already on track to have a successful business. And went even further on how the first 2 years of that we did in the 70s each year. So again, we didn't do anything with Flawless Exotic Creations other than apply the same Flawless Crested Geckos business plan in that manner. But we were able to kind of weed out some of the times we bumped our heads here at Flawless Crested Geckos. Times that we hesitated, times that we may not have made the right decisions on, you know, not purchasing something or purchasing something. So we went through the whole spiel, you know, and I mean, it was in depth, and got all the way down to the finish line, and we did not make the editor's cut for Bloomberg Business. So that's the kind of the part that's bittersweet, to know that you've made such a splash in the industry that you're in, to be interviewed, and again, it's a blessing. It's still a blessing, but we didn't make the editor's cut. There's still tons of people that's in the reptile industry that's doing phenomenally well, and it's been extremely positive experience for us. So yes, very, very bittersweet. You know, you guys needing some assistance with your Crested Gecko breeding programs? Well, check out our Patreon. We've been running it here now for pretty much close to 2 years. Everyone's been extremely excited. We keep adding new perks every time you guys turn around. We give away Xanthics, we give away high whites, we give away lily whites. We actually upgraded this year to we're giving away over 12 geckos every single year. That averages out to at least a gecko a month, and we've been doing over that. So you are not going to want to miss becoming a part of the Flawless Crested Geckos Patreon family. There's 2 tiers. There's a $50 tier and there's a $100 tier. You get all your funds back in the form of Flawless Crested Gecko savings account. You can take advantage of having 5% additional off by being a Patreon member, as well as having year-round free shipping. You guys are not going to want to miss this, so go head over to patreon.com/Flawless Crested Geckos. I don't want to say necessarily it's a milestone, because that's not something that we remotely even thought about when we got into Flawless Crested Geckos. But I will say it's cool. It's a really, really cool experience. But to kind of wrap things up and tie it together, for us, it gives us more of validation of our planning, from day one to now. So we take it as good news. We take it as a great experience, and we take it as an honor. Now, what does that mean for the general public? What does that mean for the industry? What does that mean for the hobby? I think overall, I think it's good. In times where, you know, the hobby may not be, you know, booming numbers wise or profit margins, I think that depends on what you're comparing it to. And we find that a lot of breeders across the board, they're comparing profit margins to like COVID and pre-COVID profit margins, which was a unicorn, unfortunately. But through good business standards and good business practices, you can map out a way to be profitable like any other business. We've been following this niche for an extremely long time, and believe it or not, every single year there's more and more and more pets going to pet homes. We need the pet industry, we need the breeder industry, but that tells us that there is a demand for the supply that's out there. It just gotta kind of, in its own little business way, find every pet, every, you know, crested gecko needs to find their buyer, you know, their niche within a niche. So again, this video was basically to put it out there because we want to share our, you know, missteps, even though it's not a misstep, you know, but we want to share our missteps as well as our success. We don't want to always put it out there where everything we touch is just a win. We just keep winning. But at the same time, you know, to turn the corner on that, we still take it as a win, you know, because we could have, you know, not been interviewed at all. You know, we could have been, you know, still doing exactly what we're doing and not even been thought about. So that's something to kind of think about no matter what way you look at the situation. But again, we take it with a grain of salt and we're like, okay, cool, that's awesome. Maybe we should make something like that, some type of a long-term goal. But hopefully videos like this put things into perspective for you while you're making your goals, whether you're in the Crested Gecko hobby and what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in this hobby. There were so many things that came up in this interview where the interviewer, she was provided a lot of scientific information and scientific opinions that we didn't necessarily agree with. For example, and again, it was a great conversation, but I believe she spoke with some type of a reptile specialist, reptile scientist, and they told her that crested geckos had reached their ceiling and that, you know, everything that's been discovered is pretty much it. And there will be no other discoveries. And I said, no, we completely disagree. Whether people find them as important genes or not, but I mean, think about it. Over the last 3, 4, 5 years, there's been new discoveries in crested geckos every year. Whether it's a recessive gene, whether it's breaking down the existing gene for what it is and how it works, but there's new discoveries every year that we move forward. And I also explained to her that crested geckos is such a niche that not only are there more genes and morphs and things out there, there's even more that haven't been discovered. There's, you know, some pet keeper, there's some enthusiast that has a crested gecko in their collection or their only crested gecko that may be a new morph. But we will never see it and we will never find out because too many pieces need to fall into place. You know, not only does that person have to be big or put something out on social media, but they also have to be a responsible keeper. You know, they need to make sure that they're going out there getting all the details on whatever they're seeing in their collection and how it may be working. That's not going to happen all the time. If you're, you know, if I have a really cool pet crested gecko and I'm not a breeder, I mean, I'm just going to enjoy that animal. So whether it's a new gene or not, I'm probably not going to realize it. So everyone else is not going to get a chance to see it or what it does. So you have to kind of wait for some of these genes to get into the hands of some breeders, responsible breeding. And also people that work their social media in a good way. So you can not only breed and reproduce and see how these genes work, but also get the word out there on what's happening in the hobby altogether. So again, we take this as a great experience. Want to be transparent with you guys, and you know, hey, we're a little disappointed, but we always going to keep our heads held high and again, striving to be flawless. But it's Will. Hit that subscribe button. Flawless Crested Geckos, and we out.